Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm so excited to see you all. We've got a great crowd today for our first day of our Revels Cities week, and I'm so excited for this whole entire week and all of the folks we're going to have in the room with us this week. Hello and greetings to everybody out there on Facebook Live. So glad you're all here with us today. And hello to all the folks in this room, Deborah in Kentucky, Jane in the UK, Lisa in Indiana, Becky in Vancouver. Hello, Stein. I think you might be new to us today. Glad to see you. Karen in Arizona. Hello, Dennis and Susan G and Jill. Hello, Doug in Vermont. Hello, Dion and Dion's adorable little Christmas figure. Hello. Hello to Natalia and Whitby from the Cambridge area, Cambridge revelers in themselves. Hello, Sarah and Sheila in Florida. Busy Graham from Carpe Diem Arts. Max, hello, in New Hampshire. Mary Jean Meyer, hello. Mary Jean is in the house. Bonnie, hello, in Idaho. And Julie, hello. Kathy in Virginia, hello. Glad to see you. Hello to Jenny in Victoria. Carolyn in Idaho. Janice in Cincinnati. Dan in Virginia. Luda in Victoria, hello. Hello to Mary. Nice to see you today. Also maybe new to us. Pete in Florida. Kate, hello. Kate Stookey from Cambridge Revels. Nice to see you today. Anne, hello. Glad you're here. Fred, Susan in Idaho. Haven't seen you in a while. We're so glad you're back. Susan Swope, hello, coming in from the Gettysburg area with maybe Shirley in the background. Hello, Diane, nice to see you today. And Christina, hello, glad you're here today. Susan in Seattle. Tom, hello, maybe you're new to us. Peter and Janet in Toronto, so glad you're with us today. And Adele, hello. Lars in the DC area, hello. Trudy, hello, I think you guys are new to us too. Mike Matheson, DC Reveler and Maritime Voices, nice to have you. Jamie in Victoria. Alex, Caroline, Jan in Illinois, Susan, and Sandy, Kirsten. Oh, hello, Kirsten. Nice to see you. Bill, Harriet coming in from Chicago, Karen and Kate, and lots of folks off video today. Gary, hello. Nice to see you. Jody, Kay, Lou, Dud, Jane, Libby, lots of other folks coming in. Sorry if I didn't say hello to you, and I hope you'll stick around for the whole thing so we can all say goodbye later. Thanks again, all of you, for being here. Welcome to the Washington Revels Carpe Diem Arts Daily Antidote of Song. We are so excited this week to have a Revels Cities week. For those of you who are new, we are on day 252, I think, today, of singing together one song every day at noon. Super excited this week that we're going to be able to do something special with the Revels Cities from all around the U.S. So the DC Revels, which is what you've all met so far in this room, is connected to 9 different Revels cities, and we're going to have 6 of them joining us this week. And today, Betsy Fulford is co-hosting with me. Betsy Fulford is the Washington Revels music director. I'm going to turn it over to Betsy. Before I do that, I just want to say a couple quick announcements. We do have a Daily Antidote fundraiser going on right now. There is one more day after today. Please check out the Revels website or the link in the chat and join us in the fundraiser. And the lyrics for all the songs today will be in the chat. Thank you again so much. Betsy, I am turning it over to you. Welcome.
Thanks, Joe. It's great to be here this week where I get to talk about my colleagues who are music directors and other types of directors in the other Revels cities around the country. In case you don't know, there are actually 9 or 10, I don't remember the final number, of Revels Cities. 9 right now around the country. And I'm very excited because today my colleague George Emlen is here from Cambridge Revels. And George is going to lead us in a song. And also, after he leads us in a song, a little later, we're going to hear more about what Cambridge is doing for their Revels production this year. So I want to just go ahead and hand it right over to George to introduce his song.
All right, thank you, Betsy. It's such an honor to be here. I love this program. I love what you guys are doing with the Daily Antidote. It's really quite remarkable. It's phenomenal, you know. I'm really happy to be part of it. I thought that I would teach you. I'm seated at the piano, which I realize is not very folky, but it is part of the Revels tradition to have sort of a blend of classical and folk arts. They really blend quite nicely. And I come from a I come from a classical background, but at an early age, I got bitten by the folk bug. So all my life, these two influences have been kind of working their way together through Revels and anywhere I happen to be teaching or conducting. So this is To Drive the Cold Winter Away, and I'm at the piano, but I learned it first, as probably some of you did, from Tony Barrett and John Roberts and company in Noel Sing We Clear. And it goes like this. I'll just give you a little flavor of it, and then we'll teach it. 'Tis all hail to the days that merit more praise than all the rest of the year. So that is the idea. It's kind of a rollicking song. It has a wonderful history to it. The words, anyway, were written in this early 18th century by Tom Durfee, and he had a collection called Pills to Purge. Oh, no, I've completely forgotten. What is it? Does anybody remember? Pills to Purge Melancholy. Pills to Purge Melancholy. I think it's the name of the collection. And that's exactly what we're doing with the Daily Antidote. We've got Pills to Purge Melancholy right here. So it's very appropriate. I love that I came up with this. Anyway, tribute to Noel Sing We Clear for introducing this song to me back in the 70s, I think. And I'll do it with you phrase by phrase, okay? So, first of all hail to the days that merit more praise than all the rest of the year. Go ahead. That merit more praise than all the rest of the year. Then next. And welcome the nights that double delights, as well for the poor as appear. Go ahead. And welcome the nights that double delights, as well for the poor as appear. Next. Good fortune attend each merry man's friend, that doth but the best that he may. And good fortune attend each merry man's friend, that doth but the best that he may. Next, forgetting old wrongs with carols and songs, to drive the cold winter away. Go ahead. Forgetting old songs with carols and songs, to drive the cold winter away. I love all the rhymes in here. I mean, I love the sentiment, all this wonderful merriment. It's just suffused with merriment, the whole song is. And you just get a real flavor for it. But I also love the rhymes. They're absolutely these little internal rhymes like good fortune attend each merry man's friend. I just love it. So we will go ahead and do the whole thing. At the very end of the last verse, I add this little tag at the end. We're at the best that they can, to drive the cold winter away. So leave that extra beat in there and we'll do that little coda. I call it a coda because I'm such a classical guy, but you can call it a tag, all right? Here we go. All hail to the days. Here's a little intro. Go. All hail to the days that merit more praise than all the rest of the year. And welcome the nights that double delights, as well for the poor as appear. Good fortune attend each merry man's friend, that doth but the best that he may. Forgetting old wrongs with carols and songs, to drive the cold winter away. 'Tis ill for a mind to anger inclined, to think of small injuries now. If wrath but you seek, do not lend her thy cheek, nor let her inhabit thy brow. Cross out of thy books malevolent looks, both beauty and youth's decay, and wholly consort with them with sport, to drive the cold winter away. This time of the year is spent in good cheer, and neighbors together meet, to sit by the fire in friendly desire, with each other in love to greet. Old grudges forgot, are put in the pot, all sorrows aside. They lay the old and the young do carol this song to drive the cold winter away. To mask and to mum, kind neighbors will come with wassels of nut brown ale, to drink and carouse to all in this house, as merry as bucks in a pail, where cake, bread, and cheese is brought for your feast to make you the longer stay. At the fire to warm will do you no harm, to drive the cold winter away. When Christmas's tide comes in like a bride, with holly and ivy clad, 12 days in a year, oh, much mirth and good cheer in every household is had. The country guise is then to devise some gambols of Christmas play, whereat the young men do best that they can to drive the cold winter away. Whereat the young men do best that they can to drive the cold winter away. There we go.
George, that was fabulous. Thank you so much. That was new to me, but I saw actually from the chat that was not new to everybody. Somebody actually put in the chat they used that as their audition song at some point when auditioning for Revels. I love that. Thank you so much. That was absolutely great. And I know
it's a pleasure.
Thank you. I know that Cambridge has brought with them today another Revels treat for us. Can you introduce us to Brian?
Absolutely. Brian O'Donovan is with me. Well, not really with me, but he is in spirit. And he is a great colleague. He's widely known. He's universally known in the Boston area as a radio host for a wonderful radio program on WGBH called Celtic Sojourn. And about 15 years ago, right, Brian, or more, 17, he developed a stage production based on that radio show called A Christmas Celtic Sojourn. And they are, as we are, going virtual this year, but it's a spectacular, beautiful production. They're doing amazing things. He can tell you more about it. But it's a pleasure for me to introduce to you my colleague in song and in spirit, Brian O'Donovan.
Hey, thanks, George. And wave to everybody. I can see you're waving and your wonderful faces and enthusiasm out there. My friend Tom Bates is joining us there from Concord, a longtime colleague in the music industry. Tom, hi. And Kate Stookey over there in Revels as well. Kate, great to see you. A lot of familiar faces. I'm surprised. First of all, congratulations, all of you, for making this really, oh my goodness, what a wonderful thing. Joe, this is a great gathering. It's much more than I expected, and a lot of enthusiasm coming through the interweb for these songs. So yeah, as George said, I'm here. I'm from Ireland originally. I still been maintaining my accent through correspondence courses. It's called speaklikeapat.com. For those of you who are interested. But it's been fun here in Boston. Have had a long time collaboration with Revels, in actual fact, and was the inner Revels, Spring Revels, about 20 years ago. But my family is very much involved in Revels. My daughter Aoife O'Donovan was originally involved in Revels back in 1995, in actual fact, when Jack Langstaff's last one, George. I think it was the very last performance of Jack Langstaff, and Aoife was with Jack on stage. So that was a very, very special memory for us. And we just love Revels. We love singing. We love what they stand for. We love the kindness that they generate around this area. And we know they've spread that around the country as well, as evidenced by all of your wonderful faces on this screen. So yeah, I've been here for 40 years. I'm from West Cork, tiny little town of Clonakilty in West Cork, and love it, miss my siblings, particularly during these sad times of isolation. But the song that I've chosen this afternoon is a song that Revels actually featured, and George made a special arrangement of it for, I believe this was for a Romany Revels, George, back outdoors at the Cordova Museum, if I remember, in Lincoln, right? George is muted there, but I think that was the case, and had a
Yes.
friend of
No,
ours.
I'm back. I'm back. Yes, that was. I do remember. I'm not sure that was the Romany show, but it was a Celtic show. But it was outdoors at the out there in Lincoln, Mass. And yeah, it was. We had a wonderful traditional singer, great friend of yours, Bridget Fitzgerald. She sang that song and taught it to the rest of us, and I arranged it.
It's an interesting song because it is called the Eriskay Love Lilt. Eriskay is an island in the Hebrides, ostensibly Gaelic speaking, Irish, or Scots Gaelic speaking. So this is a Scots Gaelic song that has made its way back to Ireland, which of course is the original Gaelic, came across to Scotland. And it's an interesting experience of a folk tradition going back and forth across the Irish Sea in this beautiful language. We have chosen the original, actually it's an Irish Gaelic, the original for me that is, and also some translation of it as well that allows us to sing it a little bit easier. So I'm going to teach the chorus, and it's very, very easy, and something tells me that this crowd on here is no stranger to a lot of songs in the folk canon, George, so I bet a lot of you know it already. So I'm going to teach it 2 lines at a time, but it's very, very simple, and it's often sung as a lullaby. So it goes, Ver meo ro van ho, ver meo ro van he, ver meo ro, sad am I without thee. It's so simple and so recurring that we'll do it again as the chorus. So try it with me, and we'll sing it twice through the chorus so that everybody can get it, okay? Here we go. Ver meo ro van ho, ver meo ro van he, ver meo ro, sad am I without thee. Let's do it one more time. Ver meo ro van ho, ver meo ro van he, ver meo ro, sad am I without thee. Is om I af lukkes for, hug me kortes melium hen, Någår hanig med snaid, mar rev grag almachri, ver me oro van ho, ver me oro van hi, ver me oro, sad am I without thee. Thou art the music of my heart, harp of joy, critmacree, moon of guidance by night, strength and blithe thou art for me. Ver me oro van ho, ver me oro van hi, ver me oro, sad am I without thee. Im clor shach ni reb kjol, im vior of ni reb bri, nu gor loig to don run, is for me all is moin. Ver me oro van ho, ver me oro van hi, ver me oro, sad am I without thee. In the morning when I wake to the bright and shining sea, by love's light my foot finds the old pathway thou to me. ver me oro van ho, ver me oro van he, ver me oro. Sad am I without thee. One more time. Ver me oro van ho, ver me oro van he, ver me oro. Sad am I without thee.
Brian, that was so beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for being here, for bringing us that loveliness. And I'm excited to hear more from you and from George in the discussion about your different projects and different aspects of your music. And Betsy, would you jump back in and make sure you can unmute yourself? Great.
Yeah, thank you so much. Two completely different songs with completely different moods. Such wonderful variety. I'm kind of lulled right now, so I'm trying to get myself back in the driving the cold winter away mood, because cold winter is apparently coming, at least to Washington, very soon, if not today. So George and Brian, we wanted to hear a little bit about how you all celebrate the holidays. Just kind of a little bit about your own traditions that you could share with us. I don't care who starts.
Right.
You go, George.
I'd love to. I'd love to. I had a wonderful when Joe asked me to think about what my family traditions are. I thought back to my grandparents and the parties, the singing parties that they had. My father's family was a real rough and tumble kind of singing experience. I mean, they sang loud and they sang, with great energy and vigor. And my mother's family, by contrast, was cultivated. She was a really fine pianist, and she taught me a lot about the classical everything when I was a kid. But my father's family, there was this one carol. I got to tell you this. I realize that now that it was probably what you would call a pub carol. And it was the famous words, while shepherds watch their flocks by night. But I've never heard this tune anywhere except at my grandparents' singing parties at Christmas time. And I asked Tony Barron about this, and a lot of people have never heard this tune. It's probably the most frequently set of lyrics in the whole canon. It's got hundreds of different settings. So maybe it was just one village that used this tune, and my family picked it up from this one English village. It goes like, oh, while shepherds watch their flocks by night, all seated on the ground, the angel of the Lord came down in glory, etc. It goes, and there's a nice refrain that goes, ring out, ring out, ring out, ye silvery bells. Now, I won't do the whole song because I didn't prepare you for a new song. But I'll do it another day, though. But if anybody's ever heard that before, please let me know, because I want to know the provenance of this song. Anyway, those are my family traditions. That's kind of, we have a lot of singing in our family. Pass that along to my kids, and we'll be singing on Christmas Day with my siblings who are around New England, and my own family, who most of whom, fortunately, are right here within a stone's throw of my own house in Maine.
So I'm going to just bust in and say that Tim Erickson sang a different version of Shepherds Watch Their Flocks by Night with us in this room on Saturday. And it was still not that, but neither was it the version that Revels sang this year in our chorus. So it is something that has a lot of versions. I've never heard your version either. Betsy, have you?
No, but it's similar to the one that has sweet bells, sweet chiming Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
So it's another sort of pub carol setting of that text. But yeah, we're doing the while shepherds walk their flocks by night, flocks by night. We're doing that version in this year's Christmas Revels. So yet another.
A Yorkshire version.
Brian, tell us a little bit about some of your holiday traditions.
It's similar to George's. Music and song was a big part of it. I come from a family of 9 in that area of West Cork I talk about. I am the second youngest of 9. My father was a butcher in that little small town, and my mother was a professional martyr. In actual fact, she told us on a daily basis, and we suffered through, and she suffered through, and she died a few years ago at age 97. We really had a very happy household going up, and our traditions were rather simple. And we would, watch the Christmas tree being put up in the town square as excitement descended on the town. I grew up in the 1960s, essentially. In that area, and it was a fairly bleak time. It was fairly grey, but when the lights of Christmas came out, it really added an extraordinary tinge to the town. And of course, in remembering that through the eyes of my 8, 9, 10-year-old self, I remember it almost like a snow globe, that the town would become this kind of picturesque village. And of course, if you went back and look at the pictures of it, it probably wasn't, but it certainly has that hue to it now in my memory. Probably my favorite memory of Christmas is when we would all gather upstairs in our, what we called our sitting room, which was one of those rooms that was rarely used at other times of the year, because it was the good room that my mother kept preserved, and God knows if we went into it and did any damage in there, there was all hell to pay. But on Christmas night, some neighbors would come in and sit around, and we would sing various songs, everything from Christmas music to to regular Johnny Cash songs. Yes, country music was very popular in Ireland at that time and shared the stage and the attention. And also the recitation of poetry was still a tradition at that point, and the recitation of poetry could be anything from Yeats to the cremation of Sam McGee, I remember hearing one night and being fascinated with it. But it was just an entertainment, really kind of reflective almost of Dylan Thomas. I love Dylan Thomas. I bet a lot of you on there know A Child's Christmas in Wales, and I often think of the closing of the Dylan Thomas Child's Christmas in Wales as somewhat reflective of my own, as Dylan Thomas writes that always on Christmas night there was music. An uncle played the fiddle, another sang Cherry Ripe, and another uncle sang Drake's Drum, and it was always very warm in the little house. And you remember Auntie Hannah? She liked to drink a lot. Well, she had gotten onto the parsnip wine and sang a song about bleeding hearts, and then death, and then another in which she said her heart was like a bird's nest, and then everybody laughed, and then I went to bed again. Looking through my bedroom window out into the moonlight and the unending smoke-coloured snow, I could see the lights in all the little windows on my hill and hear the music rising from them up the long, steady falling night. I turned the gas down. I got into bed. I said some words to the close and holy darkness, and then I slept.
That was an amazing, unexpected treat. And so we have not asked you yet. Betsy, do you want to talk to him a little bit about what he does in his real life, although we could guess just from that right there?
Yeah, well, I'm fascinated by the compact shelving that's behind you. I work.
I'm actually I'm at GBH. You work. Sorry, Betsy, you were saying.
I work at the Library of Congress, so
okay.
I've seen compact shelving. But are you at your studio?
I'm at my studio. So let's take a look at this. This is our compact shelving. Can you still see me?
Oh yeah.
So so this is I'm at our studio. I work at WGBH, and some of you will have heard of it, of course, because we produce a lot of programming here. We produce American Experience and Nova and Frontline and Masterpiece Theatre. If you watch Downton Abbey, this is where it comes from, right in this building. And Antiques Roadshow, which would describe a lot of us, George, on the screen today, right? Maybe? Is that a possibility? I can say that with my gray hair now, right? But but we're very valuable, I think, at the end of the day. So that's the Antiques Roadshow principle. Yeah, so it's a great institution. Unfortunately, it's a little sad for us because we're missing our colleagues here. One of the great aspects of being here, and I know this is true for a lot of you out there, is just coming across serendipitously other people with great creativity in their DNA. And that's what I miss particularly, because all of us, there's often about 800 people in this building from all of those places that we talk about that I just mentioned, but many, many more. And I just miss them terribly when I walk through the corridors here, because everybody has been away during this time of COVID. But we look forward to being back. It's a wonderful institution. As George knows, it's very supportive of the arts in this whole region, and indeed nationally, with the sponsorship of things like great performances through PBS and our participation in NPR and Public Radio International and APT. So that's what I do here. I'm a broadcaster, and I produce a program called The Celtic Sojourn on Saturday afternoons. And we have a Christmas version of that in fact, was inspired really by my association with Revels. And it is based on Celtic music, but it's fairly broad-based. And every year we do 14 shows. And this year we're virtual, we're online, and it's a wonderful place to be. So I'm glad to be a part of your discussion today.
And is that the program that George was referring to before, that is an upcoming performance or concert, or how would
It is, yeah. It is, yeah. It's called Christmas Celtic, or you can just search it under christmasceltic.com, and it will pop right at you. And we kind of did it. George and Co. there, you guys might be familiar with this. They did an amazing job of bringing Sanders Theatre, the iconic Sanders Theatre, where they have Revels every year, bringing it to life in this amazingly creative way. We are a different show. We did a different thing, but also kind of interesting because we created a bubble band, what we called a bubble band, a kind of a completely separate. We self-quarantined for 2 weeks. We tested again when we arrived at the beautiful little village of Rockport up on the North Shore here. We got donated houses. We moved into those houses, 10 of us. Moved into those houses, still socially distanced and masked for days. Tested again, waited days longer, and then got the confidence on our agreement that we could not even stop for a cup of coffee anywhere. We were completely isolated and segregated, but we basically could remove our masks and got into a mode where we could rehearse. We even actually rehearsed with masks on, and then eventually got the masks off and videoed and recorded many segments of our upcoming show, and then invited people in Scotland who would normally be coming to us, Ireland, various parts of Ireland, Canada, Michigan, Vermont, to join in with this bubble band, and created a whole entity that is our Christmas Celtic Sojourn. And I dare say it certainly was fraught, but I think it will be worth it. And like Revels, and like what you guys are doing, I bet you in your areas, people need to know and to feel that their ritual is intact this year. It's more important than ever. And that was really the mission that we had, was to keep ourselves alive, keep the year alive, like drive the cold winter away, and just give people something to hang on to, give them some semblance of hope, as there are pinpricks of light and optimism out there for us to look at during this dark time.
Yeah, I'd have to say that Brian has really nailed it in terms of not only his own raison d'etre, but ours too, because again, we wanted to keep our production alive and keep our core, as it were, engaged, but we also were trying to keep that seasonal ritual vibrant and meaningful, just the way Brian is doing with his. And just briefly, can I tell you how we put our show together? And it's still in its final stages.
Really interesting.
First of all, bringing a lot of archival material to bear. I've spent months just going through videos and videos of as far back as they go, and pulling out little excerpts here, little excerpts there, compiling them into one great montage, which is, over 40, 50 years. There's quite a bit of material to pick from. And in addition to that, we've gotten an audience together, a virtual audience of singing heads. So if you look out into the we got some photographs of an empty Sanders Theater in Cambridge, which is Harvard University's beautiful, beautiful theater we've been in for 50 years. And so we've populated the empty Sanders Theater with all these singing heads, and they are indeed singing. So there's a lot of video editing involved and a lot of audio editing involved. But the whole thing is facilitated by the two statues that stand on either side of the Revels stage, James Otis and Josiah Quincy. They magically come to life, and they guide us through this process of unfolding our history and sharing it with a contemporary audience. It's an audience that sent in their videos just weeks ago. So we're combining the old and the new, and I hope it's going to be a beautiful celebration. I think it's going to. Before you go, I have to give you the link. I think it's in the chat, but ChristmasRevels2020.org. ChristmasRevels2020.org. They give you all the information you need and get you some tickets if you'd like to do that. I promise it'll be a great production for you.
Thank you, George, and thank you, Brian, for all of that. So to George and all of the Cambridge Revelers, I'll let you know that we have a Christmas gift list that we're sending out to the Daily Antidote. Lots of suggestions from folks in the room about what to get people for Christmas, and right at the top, there's all of the Revels shows. And they make a great Christmas gift to give to others, and I quite frankly expect that lots of us will be watching all 9 of whatever it is that comes out, because it's an amazing journey. I've seen Revels North already. And I'm excited to see yours and excited to see ours and to hear from everybody else, all the Revels cities that are bringing stuff to us. Thank you so much again, George. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Betsy. Betsy, did you have anything else you wanted to ask them before we sing our outgoing song?
No, George, I know that you've been doing some Zoom or online carol sings or hymn sings.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, well, I just yesterday afternoon at 4 o'clock right here in Blue Hill, Maine, I went over to the First Congregational Church and sat down at the piano with my computer, and we had a lovely carol sing for about 45 minutes. People from all over the place, Revels people, Blue Hill people, all my cousins and siblings, and I had a hard time keeping track. But we did a baker's dozen of familiar and not quite so familiar carols. And I'd love to do more hymn sings throughout the winter and spring because there's nothing like singing hymns together. Well, it's nothing like singing together, as we all know on this particular call, to keep us keeping on through this time, and how important it is, how vital, absolutely vital to the human experience it is to be singing together. So I am trying to do my part with these carol and hymn sings throughout so not just now, but into the future. Thanks for asking.
And so I think that's a great segue into, like, could you give us another rendition of maybe the first verse or the last verse of "To Drive the Cold Winter Away" to kind of give us a, is that okay, Joe? Give us a good closer.
Sure, I'd be happy to. Can you find that last verse again? Scroll back in your chat. It starts, "When Christmas is tide comes in like a bride, with holly and ivy clad." Can you find that? Because that's that, and then we'll do that little tag at the end. That thing, okay? Once again, it's been a pleasure being with you folks. I just think this is an amazing phenomenon that you've created and you've sustained over these months. So I'm happy to be part of it. Thank you so much. So, when Christmas's tide comes in like a bride, here's the intro. When Christmas's tide comes in like a bride, with holly and ivy clad, 12 days in a year, much mirth and good cheer in every household is had. The country guise is then to devise some gambols of Christmas play, whereat the young men do best that they can to drive the cold winter away. Whereat the young men do best that they can to drive the cold winter away.
Thank you, George. Thank you,
Thank
Brian.
you.
Thank you, Betsy. Thank you all to all three of you for a great ride today. It was absolutely fun to hear from you all. I am going to just quickly announce that we are going to stick in the room, some of us, whoever can, for a little bit more discussion. To anybody on Facebook Live who'd like to join us in this room, you can go to the Revels DC website and click on the Daily Antidote and join us in the virtual room. Love to see you here. And otherwise, goodbye to everyone on Facebook Live. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Please join us tomorrow for Revels North with Nils Fredlin and Alex Cummings.